Hey everyone, welcome to Driven. I'm Pearce, your host, here today with the legendary Tom Ferry, and we are in his hometown. Well, pretty much hometown, I guess. Hometown. We're in Irvine right now. I don't know where we're going, but he's going to drive us around a little bit, and we're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about the industry and whatever else comes up.
Sounds great.
So why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself for the one person out there that doesn't know who you are?
So I think there's a lot of people out there that maybe don't know. I am probably just like everybody else watching. Young, ambitious person who just believes that at the end of the day, the consumer deserves better. Consumer deserves a better quality real estate experience, a better quality real estate agent. Real estate agents deserve a better way to operate their business. And I've just dedicated the last, like 28 years of my life, like since I was 4, to basically interviewing, talking to, coaching, modeling, mentoring the very best people in the space, and then codifying that into a system to be able to deliver it to people that want to go execute on it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, it's that, but if you ask me, like if you just saw my wife was in the office, that makes my heart sing. I got 2 boys, 16 and 18. If you need extra teenagers, let me know. I'll send them your way.
We're good.
Yeah, my mom says it's karma for how bad I was, but so that's it. That's who I am.
So yeah, I mean, you've been in the space forever. How many agents do you think you've worked with, either personally or through your 150 or so coaches?
Sure.
How many agents do you think you've touched over the years?
Well, so I know that this year we will have about 89,000 people through all of our events in the U.S. market, plus another 15,000 throughout Europe, and then a little bit in Mexico and a lot in Canada. I count that in my U.S. market, but I think, 1 million.
Yeah.
Conservatively, 1 million.
And you've changed lives all over the country, all over the world.
I think I've been very blessed to find people that had the desire to change their life. I don't think that I directly change people's lives. I think I ask a lot of good questions, and I maybe alter their philosophy and then give them some really good tools, and then they go change their lives, and I'm just happy to maybe be the catalyst.
I think you're spot on with that. So I mean, you always talk about like fearless, right? That's one of your big things, being fearless. What do you think the fears are that agents that are holding agents back?
I think it really depends. I mean, if I was talking with a super seasoned rock star high-end agent, their fear is different from a brand new agent in the middle of the country with an average sales price of $200,000.
Absolutely.
Right? I think at the end of the day, we either change our philosophy, the way that we think about our lives and we think about our business, and we, our belief, our mindset, or everybody at the end of the day is going to have fears like, am I worthy? Have I done enough? Am I smart enough? Am I fast enough? Am I good enough? Am I quick enough to get back to people? I think everybody deals with those fears, myself included.
All of us.
Right? So I think it's kind of context specific. New agents have a different set of fears. Theirs are like, can I do this? And how do I compete with, some of these rock star individuals and teams that are in the marketplace? How do I separate myself from the competition?
How am I ever going to catch up with them?
How am I ever going to catch up? Can I even catch up with them?
Right.
So I think it really is context specific. But the thing that I would say is, fear is never the defining factor of what stops people, right? Because we all have fear, right? Fear of asking the first girl out on a date, right?
Sure.
But eventually we both got married, so we were able to get over that, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's helping people understand that we all have the fear of the phone. We all have fear of rejection. We all want people to like us. We all want to do well. We all want to be successful. But at the end of the day, it is the ability to accept being punched in the face that causes the most successful people to be successful. Like I've interviewed thousands of the most successful agents around the world. Nuno Gomes, who I was just with in Portugal, the guy does 185 transactions a year in a non-MLS, basically totally underserved on technology, and no lead generation the way we get it in the US, and the guy is crushing it, and the reason why is because he can handle the rejection. He has realized that they're not rejecting him, they just don't need his service at this time.
So when you say punch in the face, it's that any level of rejection or whatever that might be.
Whatever it is. Hiring an assistant and it doesn't work out, right? Hiring a salesperson on your team and it doesn't work out. All of that is, to a certain degree, a level of rejection that you have to accept as, like, you got to accept it, but not emotionalize it. You with me?
Yep. Which is like the number one thing in cold calling.
For sure.
Which is the number one fear of every agent.
Listen, and there's two rules of thumb. Like I got started working at my dad's company with the wonderful training of, here's your desk, here's your phone, good luck kid, you're on your own. No headset, right? Here's the yellow pages.
Yeah.
Start calling people and selling our stuff.
Yep.
And the first year I made $67,000, and it was in seventh heaven because I wasn't bagging groceries anymore. But the reality was, like, I did it purely on just like motivation and energy.
Yeah.
Well, so the next year I'm like, well, I'm going to triple my income again. And I made $67,500 because you can't expect 3x doing the same activity.
On motivation and energy.
Yeah. So I had to refine my skills, I had to refine my offer, I had to refine my presentation, I had to get better with technology. That's the game.
All right, well, technology, nice segue there. I mean, we were talking about this earlier and have talked about this in the past. Obviously, I work, BoomTown's a technology company.
Yeah.
At the risk of sounding salesy, technology, in my opinion, is not a nice to have anymore. It is something that you have to be doing. Do you agree with that line of thought?
So we used to talk about, you got to have the right people, you got to have the right process, the right systems, the right lead generation, and then we put, like, technology would be on the list. Today,
and this is within the last 5, even 10 years ago.
Certainly. And today I look at the technology as it is the framework of everything that we do. It empowers the people, it empowers the systems, it empowers the process, it empowers marketing. So I don't think anybody watching this doesn't resonate. I think everybody, I think we get now today, because of the iPhone and everything else, that the old line about technology is going to replace real estate agents was a wonderful fear-based selling point by a few people back in the day. Now it's basically great salespeople with great technology are just going to be able to allow their ambition to just take off.
They're just that much better.
Because kind of anything is possible when it's repeatable and scalable, which you can't do without tech.
That's right. Well, it's great. So what do you think, tech-wise or just in general, has there's a lot of hype out there, the next things, whatever that might be. We were saying, like, the QR code obviously did not live up to the hype.
Do you remember NAR, everyone running around with the business card? Like, they're like, here's my card, hit the QR code. I'm like, why would I do the QR code? You just handed me your business card.
I've taken my face off the card and put the QR code on. I was like, let's take them both off.
Yeah, let's just get rid of the QR code.
Is there anything now that you think there's hype that is living up to it, that is that's not, like, any trends that you're seeing that are coming?
I think, listen, at the end of the day, like, so running my business, I chose Salesforce, right? And then what Salesforce allows me to do is have the centralized hub of BoomTown, right? It's a marketing and automation hub. It allows me to generate leads and then alter and look at and view behaviors. So we do the same thing with Salesforce and Marketo, right? That's a very expensive proposition.
Yes.
50x what an agent would pay for BoomTown for the size of my organization.
Yes.
And yet without it, we couldn't live. So I think you first have to have the basis of whatever your CRM is. That's got to be in check. And then the game is, what do you need? Do you need higher conversion? Do you need speed to lead?
Do you need more leads?
Do you need more leads? So I think there's always going to be that next, not shiny penny, but there's going to be that great entrepreneur that figures out a niche.
Right.
Look at, can we talk like Get Riley?
Yeah.
Call
Legend,
call action, agent,
yeah.
like all of these, beautiful, engineers and entrepreneurs figured out that it's one thing to call the lead in 5 minutes, but it's another thing to have that lead automatically get a video, a text, an email, and a phone call, and be able to talk to you after. So I think there's always going to be something like that. I think the challenge for most people, though, is, like, we're at a place now with Salesforce, as many of your users are with BoomTown, that we have now matured that this is the way we do business.
Yep.
Now we can operationalize lots of new things.
Yes.
And I think the mistake that people make is they don't give their main operating platform, BoomTown, others, Salesforce, they don't give it time to mature for the team to have it be culturally and behaviorally how we operate. Like, if I'm still asking my salespeople to log into the system,
It's not. You're not ready yet.
It's not time to throw in another piece of tech.
Yeah, sure.
You with me?
Right. So they have to adopt the technology.
100%.
As we've been talking about. If they don't adopt the technology, then none of the other stuff works.
And a super important point, again, I feel like, 29 years into this, 28, 29 years into it, I've been through 4 major changes of software and how we do our business. And every time I say to myself, I know we think it should be done faster, but it's going to take us 3 to 5 years before this is absolutely getting us the real return. Right. Not the immediate short-term efficiency, not the 15% bump in performance. The real, breakthrough returns always show up way longer than any one of us would like.
So when the process, the technology, all of those pieces just become a part of you, a part of your organization, then you take it to the next level.
I brush my teeth, I do an open house, I'm on BoomTown. It's just, it has to be operationalized inside of your business, that's just how we do it. Some people check email every day, we need to check BoomTown every day.
Yep.
That's when you know you can say, hey, let's take a look at Get Riley or Agent Legend or whatever the new flavor of the month is that's solving a problem in a beautiful way.
Take something else to the next level.
Yeah.
Good point. In light of all of the new technology, processes, teams are obviously not going away, How are you seeing people that are, from a training perspective, a new agent coming in, or retraining a broker, needing to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? How are you seeing that evolve? People in that space, in your space. You're educating and training people as well.
Yes. There has never been a better time than right now to be alive and have the desire to learn something. Think about it. This morning, I woke up and I was like, I've been dealing with this pressing problem. I'm going to go to a website called YouTube. I'm going to type in what I'm looking for, and there was 1,000 videos for me to review. Yeah. My kids in elementary school, turning them on to the Khan Academy and watching them both completely accelerate through all of their math to become very advanced at math, and neither one of them was gifted mathematically. But it's numbers, and you figure out the process, and you follow the process, and you follow the steps. Yep. So what's beautiful today about training is it's really, there's 2 camps. There's people that do it, and there's people that don't. Okay. And it's very obvious. It's very obvious. And even the people that say, Tom, because we get the calls from the big brokers and huge companies, we have world-class training. And I'm like, well, what's your failure rate? They're like, 87%. I'm like, all right, so that's cool. So let's look at making some adjustments. And I think the big adjustment for people today is to recognize that, first of all, you need to have on-demand training. You need to have right now, real-time, instant solve my problem.
Because that's how people think in the real world.
That's
Google
the world
has
today.
Made us think like that.
Completely. It baffles me that a team leader would say to an agent, hey, so where are you at today? Well, I'm just struggling to make my phone calls. Well, great, here, look at Google, YouTube, how to get over anxiety of phone calls. Great, watch this video, now let's go. Yeah. That's the world we live in today. Yeah. Instant on demand, not gratification, but solve the problem, right? Solve the problem immediately and move on, and then work to institutionalize it. So that's a segment. Certainly there's lots of one-to-many webinars, conference calls, audio programs. There's lots of ways for us to plug in today, but I still stress to people, and it's interesting, I was watching an interview with Clive Davis recently, and he was talking about record sales, CDs, right, downloads, being down and live events up. And I think the great distinction there for us is all of us know the difference between when I take my team and we go to SaaStr, right? We've watched every one of the videos online collectively and individually, but what happens when we go to the live event together?
It's a whole different thing. Absolutely.
Look, I go to church, right? So I can read the Bible and I can have a certain experience. But when I'm in church and I'm surrounded by it and the music's playing and we're singing together and we're doing the thing, when you're in it. So I think
I've been to your events. I've met you, and then I've been to your first time I went to one of your events. I was like, now I get it. Right? Or the same thing what we do with our Unite conference. It's 100%. A whole different thing. People 100%. Together, I get it.
If you're a smart team leader today, if you're a smart broker today, you're providing all of it, right? Because people need it the way they want it. We have to stop delivering in this mindset of my way is the only way, and that this is how I'm committed to deliver training. What I'm committed to is trying to get into the heads and the hearts and the minds of as many amazing, ambitious real estate professionals around the world as possible, however it's easy for them.
Right. Training is also not one video and go on and do it.
Yeah.
It's over and over and over and over. It's like you were talking about earlier, the J curve. Like
100%.
takes 89 calls before you get into the groove.
89 days
of calling
getting over the fear of
right.
calling.
Okay.
Like the myth of 21 days, right? We all know 21 days to make or break a habit.
Yeah.
That's a lie, right? I mean, on the 22nd day, I still wanted a glass of wine.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was like still not like, wow, doing like 100 burpees is awesome. Like, no, this sucks.
Yeah.
But after 89 days, you've now institutionalized that. You've made that a part of you. It's become a habit. So
it's almost
that's the key.
I'm a guitar player. It takes a long time to get the calluses there to where it doesn't hurt to play anymore.
100%. Or to have the calluses and they're bleeding and you're still playing and
And
loving
you still got to play. Or
yeah.
Exactly. So this is a bit more of a philosophical, esoteric type of question that we're wanting to know. We're asking a lot of people around.
Deep questions
deep
from
questions.
Rivers.
I do have a philosophy degree.
All right.
So, real estate is selling at its core they're selling the American dream in many ways.
Sure.
Right? The home represents home ownership is the American dream. It's the safest place to put your money. I mean, we know all of this, right? That's standard. Knowing that millennials are basically taking over the world, right? They're growing up, they're taking over the world, taking over the marketplace. Do you think renting has changed? I mean, knowing that a lot more people are renting out of necessity, or do you think that, because I'm seeing a lot of agents that are starting to actually say, yeah, I'll take a rental, because I look at that rental as 2 years from now as a buyer, and then 5 years as a seller. And a lot of people say, oh, no, I don't touch rentals. I mean, what's your take on that?
I think first of all, I like the lifetime value play.
Yeah.
So I've always said to all of the clients we work with, look, you're going to be in those situations where you're in a rental market, or B, you're in that transition market. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have somebody on your team who specializes in helping that person with a short-term rental, 6 month, one month, 1 year, whatever the time frame is, you're missing a piece of the addressable market in your area.
Right.
Right? Do I think that my personal clients should be spending their time doing that? Probably not.
But somebody within their organization.
Exactly.
And what a better way to build trust from the beginning.
100%.
When you're helping somebody in a jam or whatever they need for 6 months or a year. Right?
For sure. So I think there's always going to be that segment of the market. The thing you got to be mindful also too is price range, right? So if you're in a price range where renting and owning are very similar, right? We've got to become better at educating customers on what it takes to to buy versus rent. Yeah. And a lot of these people do that. 3 mistakes to avoid, 7 tips for, Facebook videos, education, being a person of resource and helpful versus just trying to sell them a house.
Yes, absolutely. And especially with the younger generation, they're going to see right through it.
100%.
They don't have any time for it.
Well, no, they're going to go online, read your reviews, and go, that person's a scumbag, right? So who cares?
Yeah, everything's transparent nowadays.
Yeah. Yes.
So let me ask you this. Speaking of online and a lot of controversy in the last week around what Zillow did with instant offers.
Yes.
What Open Door is doing. What's your take on those kind of things that are happening? And obviously a lot of people are up in arms about all of it.
No doubt. So listen, when Open Door launched, I thought, you know what? There's a segment of the market for that.
Yeah.
When I Pay One launched back in San Diego, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago, 1% commissions, billboards all over town. I think there was a handful of brokers that were probably trying to find some former mafia, takeout men to kill the CEO. Matter of fact, one of my clients ended up buying the company just to shut it down. Huh. So the reality is, and this is the hard part for people, that you can't stop progress. Mm-hmm. And if you're just a hater, you're going to hate. So you're going to hate, I Pay One. You're going to hate Remax for starting and being disruptive.
Redfin.
You're going to hate Compass,
whatever.
Redfin, BoomTown for taking my lead. Haters are just going to hate.
Sure.
Right. So the thing that I would stress is, in this business, I've been around long enough to see that there has been a few significant model changes in how we operate in real estate, how we operate our businesses. And this is going to be a segment of the market. Technology is not going to remove the agent, but there is going to be that consumer that wants to buy direct. And we already know it exists with auction.com.
Yeah.
We were watching people putting their house on eBay 10 years ago. So nobody should be shocked by this. I think there's a Zillow though mystique. There is just a set of people that just believe that they were birthed from Satan and that they are the devil, and whatever.
And then you have the other people that are making a ton of money by leveraging their services.
When that thing was launched, I was in Napa Valley with my wife on vacation, and my phone starts blowing up. And it was basically 70-30. 30% of the people like, WTF, and I was like, where's Tom Ferry? I'm in Napa. Like, what are you talking about? And then 70% of them were, how do I get in on this early? What do I need to do? Who do I need to call? How do I position myself? And I think that's just indicative to, look, people are either in a growth mindset, right, or they're in a stuck mindset. And if you're in a stuck mindset in an industry that is ripe for disruption, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
But then again, like if you're alive and on this planet at this time, in the free world, and you are in a fixed or stuck mindset, you're going to experience a lot of pain and suffering over the next 10 years. Because if you think this is crazy, wait for what's going to happen over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. So the growth mindset, people look at it as a challenge to overcome.
Challenge to overcome and an opportunity, and how am I going to find my way in this? Just like, we're not of this age, but I have clients that were like, do you remember when we only faxed our offers? And I was like, yeah, like you mean when you went on vacation and brought your fax machine? And they're like, yeah, because what if the hotel didn't have one?
Wow.
Right? And then lock boxes. That totally disrupted people. Like, or better yet, the lock boxes change from a typing pad to an iPhone, and they're like, wah. So there's just people that are in a fixed mindset no matter what.
About everything.
Yeah, like they have the birth of a new child and it's a disruption to their life instead of what a blessing.
Yeah, sure. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to close with here? Or, we're kind of wrapping up.
First of all, I'd say thank you.
Thank you. This is an honor to be in the car with you.
Should we tell him the truth that I don't actually have a car? This is not even mine. There's a baby seat in the back.
This is not his car. We had to steal a car.
Yes, my son recently took my car and decided he would put it into the back of a wall. So it's currently in the shop. So I'm loving Uber right now. But you know what I would say to everybody is that if you're paying attention right now, NAR is saying it's never been better than it is right now transactionally. And yet, there's a whole bunch of people, like as we're saying, the market's great, the economy is great, like interest rates. I just remember the bankers yesterday, they're all saying, maybe the LIBOR is going to go up a little bit, we're going to have a rate increase and the rates go down.
Right, exactly.
Right? So
it's been happening for a year.
Yeah, so money is cheap, the market's good, the mental sort of economy is really strong. And yet there are people that are not making the money that they want. There's people that are watching this that are not selling the number of properties that they know they can do. And the thing that I would ask them all to consider is this. What are you doing to brainwash yourself? Because it's philosophy and belief, like your processor first, then the how and the action becomes easy. But if you know what to do and you're not doing it, it's not learning more stuff to do. You with me?
Then you're just overloading.
Yeah, learning more stuff to do, to make the phone calls maybe. No, you've got to look at what's going on up here. And I know there's a lot of people that talk about this. I've said to people, your head's a scary place to be, and I don't mean that to like be like an affirmation for people, but it's acknowledging that if you don't change the processor, right? It's like if you take your iPhone and you're operating on 4 ago, software, right? You with me? You have to update the software. Otherwise, everything runs slower and the how and the actions don't work as well.
Right.
So the thing that I'm stressing to my clients right now is do not underestimate the value of personal and professional development.
Right.
Do not underestimate the value of listening to something great every day, reading something great every day, being a part of a mastermind group, surrounding yourself with like these amazing people that you can learn from, that you can teach, you can profit with, you can enjoy. Challenge, encourage that being in this business can be very isolated. So if you're not tuning in or connecting with good information, good books, it's slight edge thinking, right? Doing the little things every single day, right, that give you the power. And that would be the message I'd say to everybody. It's what I say to my own children, and I say to all of my employees, all of our teammates, all of our coaches, all of our clients, spend an hour every day making you better, because when you're better, everything is possible.
It's a great way to end it. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
appreciate it. That's it. We'll see you guys soon.